got some
Mm,
news talking, and we talked about things like this before, but this is something what is realistic in the so-called cannabis community in Canada. About It's like a cult to me. It's not the
mm-hmm.
cannabis community. It's like the canna cult community. That's what I'm gonna call it, the canna cult community.
Well,
How
I'm surprised we never even talked about this.
we
You
kind
know
of
that?
did, but we kind of stayed away
Yeah,
from it
we
a
kind
little
of
bit.
did, but not the actual full 100. The gist of it, you know?
And before we start, let's add to this. It's hip hop culture, which we're part of, that
Mm.
popularized the use and probably the promotion of cannabis, and we are part of that, the hip hop community. Let's go now. What's your thoughts on this and your research? As I see it all the time, especially on
Um,
Instagram.
well, this post is actually related to like, like all the giveaways
Hmm.
like cannabis companies do,
Yep.
right? So lately, I've been in a couple of them, right? So
Yeah.
I've seen the winners or whatnot, right? If you won something, say if you won some weed, right?
Yep.
You'll give a special shout out, right?
Yep.
Some people don't even do that, bro.
Yep. I know.
And it's disgusting. It's like you're there for like freebies.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Or is
And
it
it's
their
like,
own people? Sometimes it's their own people. They make a contest, right? And they
yeah,
make sure a whole bunch of the people apply and tag and shit like that. So it's really a monopoly. It's not really a
yo.
contest. It's just to promote themselves.
So I had to drop off a giveaway to somebody, right? One of the
Yeah.
because one of my sponsors, right? Shout out Bankwood,
Hmm.
right?
Bless.
So he's like, yo, can you do me a favor and drop off this giveaway? He's in the area. I'm like, okay. The man rang down his phone, rang down my DMs for this giveaway. The man didn't even shout out the man for the giveaway.
Oh,
So you like, you hound the man up. You like, you're there for the freebie. You're just there for free smoke.
mm.
You know what I mean? You're probably not even gonna support the brand for one. You know what I mean? Like,
But that's how it go. What I'm seeing now with the
mm,
so-called the kind of cult community, right? That's what I'm gonna call it, the kind of cult community.
mm,
Is people who are like maybe near my age or most likely older sometimes, even
mm,
my age, and and with certain corporations
mm,
important, but they're not really grassroots, right? It's like, to me, it's kind of like rock and roll, like when like Elvis, not to just say spotlight Elvis, but it's like you take pieces of the culture, but you don't support the culture because all the time when these cannabis, most of them, not all,
mm. Yeah, yeah. Like some people just some people just smoke weed, and
yeah.
some people know about weed. You know what I mean?
There's people who know about weed too. They
Yeah.
know about weed, but it's not the weed thing. Is that the culture? Which you're gonna say, what's the culture, right? Okay, if they wanna associate hippie culture, for example, I'm
Mm,
from those eras. It still was influenced. I'll be straight up. They used to stereotype the people who smoke cannabis was black people and
mm,
Mexicans. You know what I mean? It was
yeah.
the bad thing. And after
Mm,
then, the hippies who was with the black people and the Mexicans, they were popularized, right? But
mm.
they were down to earth those times. But the
Of
people,
course,
I,
they
I'm gonna,
fight.
I could say it because you're on here, right? And you
Mm,
part of the hip hop culture. I find a lot of is it middle age or older, like maybe 50, late 40s, Caucasian white people who are not part of the hip hop culture are the
mm-hmm.
ones who are doing this. and I'm saying in Canada especially,
Yeah, yeah.
not unnecessarily America,
Mm,
because I see in America everybody's together more. That's the difference. In America, with
that's true.
the cannabis community, you see white, black, everyone is mixed and
Mm-hmm.
celebrated and promoted. But in Canada, and you don't see that.
No,
It's like a separation. Now, am I right or wrong?
no, you're right.
Mm,
You're right.
okay.
You're right. You're totally right.
So in Canada has a problem. When we try to make ourselves look like we're all good down here, it's Canada that has the problem. You could go to California, see Mexicans, blacks, whites, and all their
Mm,
brands are promoted equally. Everybody has a brand,
yeah.
right? As much as they want to make America look bad, but in Canada, mm-mm, mm-mm.
The states, yo, the states, they help each other, yo.
Yeah,
Canada
they're
don't.
offered. It's all for themselves here. They're trying
Canada's
to
more
keep.
corporate, man.
They're trying to
Believe it
keep
or
it
not.
for themselves. What it is, they're
Mm,
trying to keep it for themselves, but it's not going to work. It's not
mm,
going to work because what they're trying to avoid, because
mm,
music and cannabis goes one and like goes hand in hand. Music and
mm.
cannabis. Let's be straight up, right? So
Of course,
what is
in
the
any genre of music.
which genre is the most popular genre and strongest genre now?
For weed,
Music.
well, right now, I gotta say hip hop. But
Okay.
before,
So,
but before, it was
mm,
rock and roll.
but rock still is same. That is hip hop. It derives
Yeah.
from there. So now we're
But
saying hip hop.
even don't get it twisted. Jazz players,
Hmm.
jazz
No, but
musicians.
I'm saying now though, right? It's hip hop now.
Mm,
So who's represent besides Burner and Snoop, these popular rappers? Who's the ones who are representing from the hip hop culture? We could add some rappers, but really have their like. Could we count like
mm,
20 people? Could we count 20 people from the hip hop
yeah,
community that really has in promote like until recently, like okay, I know
yeah,
Method
yeah.
Man, I know Wiz Khalifa, I know
Method
Burner
Man,
and stuff,
Redman,
but like
Wiz,
I'm talking about unknown people, like when we see unknown
Styles.
people. So we're
Um,
talking about people who are not even
you know,
rappers,
believe it
just
or not,
people. Mm.
I'm gonna mention an artist, Vado.
Okay, vital, but we're talking rappers. Let's
Mm.
not talk rappers. Let's just talk about people who are part of the community. You get what I
Erica
mean?
Badu,
Like I no, no, not even singer. Just an average person
just an
who
average person.
who you know is like they might have a clothing line. They're not as big, but
Mm.
okay. Let me correct myself. Someone like us
Mm-hmm.
who, okay, we have our platforms, but we're
Yeah.
not no big music artists. We're not
Mm.
no big actor, and
Mm.
we're in Canada, and we are big. You get what I mean?
Mm.
In America, you could find people you never heard of, never seen, and they have a lot of followers and support. They're just a person who loves cannabis. You see
Yeah.
it all the time. I see podcasts.
Yeah.
I've never seen these people in my life as anybody, and they have a big platform because
Mm.
they're getting the support. But in Canada now, because we're really in Canada, it's not America. Like I said, in America, everybody supports each other. In
Mm.
Canada now, it's to me, it's a cult, the cannabis community, and
Yeah. It is.
someone has to prove me wrong that it isn't because my years being on here, right, and we have other
Mm.
platforms, right, and we are
Yeah.
cannabis connoisseurs. Me and you seen the bullshit. We see it. How much? Okay, for example, organizations in Toronto or Hamilton where they're putting on cannabis, whatever shows or events, they see you.
Mm.
Don't think they don't see you because you follow
Of
them.
course.
They might follow us, and they never invite you anywhere
Mm.
or recognize you. You know why they're not recognizing you? Because you have more influence in a community they want to be a part of. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
if I'm not recognized in the hip hop community, I'm not
No.
gonna
No.
make this guy recognized in my community.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
look,
Yeah. Of
for
course.
example, how much artists you know, hip hop artists you know, a lot, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm.
You know some promoters, you know the events, vice
Mm.
versa. They don't know those people really. So when it's the vice versa, they're saying, look how much people we know in this cannabis thing. They don't know. But the difference with the cannabis thing is you can't stop people like us from in getting like
talking about it.
influencing. We could
Yeah,
get in there. We could do our own events. You get what
of
I
course,
mean?
of
But
course.
the opposite. They can't do us.
Hmm.
You ain't gonna get invited to no artist
We
event or nothing
we ain't
like
gonna
that. And
get
it's
invited to any government fucking. You know what
you
I
get what
mean?
I mean.
I
They're
tried.
not gonna
I tried. I
no
tried.
vice versa. They're not gonna be invited to just say a show from some hip hop artists down in Toronto compared to us.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Or like people who are in back of the scenes, like promoters, shit like that,
Yeah.
who put on shows and shit like that, and
Hmm.
hip hop artists and producers. There is the vice versa. They know all these corporations that are in the cannabis industry, so they're saying we're not gonna make invite you so you could so those corporations could really see you because they're scared of your influence. Actually,
Yeah.
coming to you instead of them. You get what I mean?
Of
Because they're
course.
gonna say, let's be straight up. Hip hop influence cannabis a lot. How much
Mm.
people are using? How much people go to Snoop in regards to the cannabis? Snoop is hip hop. You get
Hmm.
what I mean? How much people go to Wiz? He's hip hop. We're hip hop. Most of these people I see who are in Canada, part of the cannabis community, they're not hip hop.
No, they're not. A
None of
lot of
them
them
is hip
don't
hop.
give the. A lot of people don't give the. I guess you could say resources. Like the knowledge. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't go to say, yeah, okay, yeah, Sean knows this, 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 this. You know what I mean?
Mm,
They
yeah.
won't do that. You know what I mean? They'll just,
And guess what? Guess
or if
what?
you want to know something, if you want to know something, and you know that they know something very valuable, they won't share it.
But you know what? It's that's breaking that algorithm. You know why? The
Mm,
internet. A lot of these people are even older than us, and they just got used to the internet. What I know with the internet, because we have other platforms and busy on the
yeah.
other platforms too. Now that I'm concentrating on this,
Mm,
it's like we're the boogeyman because the more I get into the algorithm for the Myrie Jane podcast, I'm
yeah.
seeing a lot of the cannabis community watching more and responding more before. Okay, it could be shadow ban. I understand this whole shadow ban thing, but it doesn't matter anymore. As long as you've been doing this social media for a long time, it doesn't
Hmm.
apply to us because we have algorithms everywhere, right?
Of
I got
course.
algorithms on the down to earth a lot.
Of course.
So I apply that to any other algorithm, and that's the Myrie Jane. And what I seen the other day, which not everybody gets, I posted something in regards to Method Man's new shit what he got,
Yeah.
and he liked, and I tagged him, and he liked it.
Yeah. Of course.
So, and he was in Canada because he has a Canada page too, a Tikal
Yeah.
Canada page. So the point, what I'm saying is, he, a guy like that, probably when he comes to Canada versus America, he doesn't see his own. Like I'm just gonna be straight up, he's not seeing no black person really representing the cannabis in Canada.
Mm.
I could tell you that if I was to put money on that like a lottery, I probably win that money. He's not seeing that shit. He's only
No,
seeing probably these
you're just
old
seeing the
white
promotion.
people who are promoting weed. He's not seeing. There's no black. I could say that there is no one who's black, and it's sad to say. I have to bring it up, right?
Mm.
From Canada, if these people come here who are cannabis, entrepreneurs, they're never gonna see even hip hop. That's why I'm getting to hip hop. Even if you're white, they're not
Mm.
making you see you. They're not making them see you, and they're not making them see me because they would come to first before them, be it with any
Yeah.
type of business or promotion or sponsorship. You get what I mean?
Hmm.
Because really, none of these older people are, you know, they have no in Canada, they have no influence in anything. It's like they're trying hard, but they really don't. It's only in their own community, and it's mostly these older or these yuppies. You know what I mean? They don't have nothing. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Okay, right now, tell me, like, you see how you see cookies?
Hmm.
right? The cookie store.
Yeah.
Which event where I'm not talking where you see people who are from the hip hop community, I'm bringing it up, celebrating cannabis big in, for example, Toronto or Canada.
Not really. No,
Mm, okay.
no, no. Nobody. No.
All
The
right.
only people, the only thing that we have in Toronto is Kind Magazine, and that's
See,
corporate.
we don't have that. Everything is corporate. So, because social media is big now, and you got guys like Kai Sennett, and the list goes on, who
Hmm.
influence, for example, the music side, right?
Yeah.
Before it wasn't that, it was the corporations, it was the labels you had to go to. That's why they're trying to pay Kai Sennett like $600 million and all.
Of course.
But we're gonna from the six or Canada right now. If they do come, they're new. I haven't seen no cannabis platform
Mm.
from Canada besides what we do as a pod. Yes, let me know
No
who
one really. No one.
who from Canada, not America. I know America. I'll say it again. I just have to say
No
it
one from
to
Canada.
cement it. Who from Canada has something like Be Real, like Be Real's Dr. Green Thumb's
No
show?
one. No one.
Nobody.
Mm-mm.
Nobody. And if there is, they're not big.
I don't know about them. Mm.
Yeah, I don't know about them. And it's not like I'm under a rock. It's not like we're under a rock. We are
I know.
been on social
We're
media
out there.
doing shit for a good
We
while.
explore.
So if they were there, they're not too big anymore. They disappeared. I seen one or two, like maybe 5 years ago, and they're gone. They're not even
Hmm.
exist. Like I said, there was one, bless up to them, called
Yeah.
I think they were called the Loud or Smoking something. They had a good set and everything. I think they were based. I don't know where in Ontario they were. They had good cameras. They had a good set, a good look. They had four people or five,
Hmm.
but because of disagreement, this was before COVID, right before COVID. Because of disagreement, that show went away. It didn't last, but it was a good concept.
Yeah.
They had a good name, and they had a good name and a good concept, and it was a Canadian show. But because uh, the disagreement, not a real
Hmm.
team, it's gone. It could have been big,
Yeah. Of course.
right?
Mm. Right.
But they kind of
Yeah.
caught because it looks like that to me. You know what I mean? I seen different people were part of this group.
Trailer Park Boys could have did went a long way, for Canada with the cannabis. What I don't
No,
know.
it's still big, but what's going on? I seen this coming that they're gonna try like especially up here when it became legal, right? All the people who was doing it illegal, they made sure they bust those people so they could kind of
Of course.
balance the system. But like for the influence now, like
Hmm.
for the influence in Canada, they want to control it through like these events so they know who's who. You
Yeah.
get
Of
what I mean?
course.
So it's like it's a club. You're invited. You're invited. You could
No, it's a
come
cult.
there.
It's a cult.
Yeah, you could go there, but are you gonna really get recognized? Not saying you won't get recognized. You go. This is the whole thing I say with this. You go there if you're interested and you promote yourself. And once
Exactly.
you show up at all these, you start showing up at most of these events. It's
Hmm.
undeniable. It's undeniable.
Yeah. Of course.
That's all I could say. The only thing with that's what you do. You just go to all the major events where it has to deal with cannabis, even if
Mm.
it's corporate, and do your own review on the shit.
Yeah.
That's all I say.
Hmm.
You got to expose the certain things sometime,
I
right?
don't even feel like like any like Canadian like cannabis like like influencers actually post any hip hop event.
None. And if there
You know what I
is
mean?
any, they're probably in America. I guarantee that's how it would be. It would be a
Yeah, of course.
person who's in America. There's one guy who's big in Canada though. He does the HASH. His name Bubble Man. I know of
Yeah,
him
yeah,
because he went to my dad's place in Negro and done a video. Yeah, he's huge actually. He's probably the
yeah.
biggest, I would say. Now that I think of it, right? Bubble
Yeah.
Man from Vancouver, right? And he only promotes like that mostly and the vapes. He has like 600,000 subscribers on YouTube, right?
Oh shit.
I think. And all his videos are over 100,000. And do we know of him in Canada? I'll promote him because he came to my pop's place. I'll promote him. He's probably the biggest person, if you want to say cannabis, but he deals with that thing, what I just told you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Influencer. He's the biggest, Bubble Man. My cousin told me about it.
yeah. Those people
My
that
cousin
those.
know, my cousin knows him, knew about him,
Mm,
and he visit. I'm gonna post that up again. He visit Negro down at our place, and he has like a
mm. Yeah, yeah, I know. Mm. China oil with canola oil. He's well famous too. He makes like good hash and shit.
he's the biggest I know of. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
about him for a little bit, but he's the biggest, and he just started a pod, so he probably realized I should be doing some type of platform besides my little documentaries, and that gets him bigger. I'm telling you, all his videos are like 400,000, 300,000, and that's in Canada. So really, I'm gonna say this. It's funny. You can never say you're the biggest pod like in this type of platform. You can never say without doing research you're the biggest unless you're just saying in a genre because technically, if I was to say who's the biggest podcast in Canada, I'm not saying genres. He would be, or just say in the urban. Okay, I backtrack myself. He would be the biggest. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't know any platform here what's a podcast with 500,000. 500,000.
Oh, really?
The only other people I know of is these Filipino guys. They have it called something like No Jumper. Their name's similar like No Jumper. I forgot what it's called. Something Jumpers Jump podcast.
Mm.
They got like 700,000 subscribers,
Yeah.
and they just talk about like conspiracy shit, ghost stories, like different type, mostly like mysterious shit they talk about. You get what I mean? And they're like 700,000. But in regards to like the cannabis industry, it's that guy so far I know of. I don't know anybody else. You get what I mean? Just Bubble Man. And besides Bubble Man, it'll be us. We don't have to. You don't have to have 500,000 to be a big influence. It's just the algorithm. As long as you're consistent, you're out there in the universe, and you're consistent with your content. As long as you're consistent, you're out there. And right now, if I was to go look, there's no really person talking about like streaming live talking about cannabis or the culture from Canada. From Canada, that's where I'm putting. And I've been on all types of platforms, and Kick, Twitch and Kick. So, and on Instagram there is more. I would say most of them are on Instagram lives. Most of the community, if they're doing content, they're on Instagram. They're not really doing nothing else. But yo, that's the Myrie Jane podcast. I think they cut your audio, man. I think they cut your audio, man.
You can hear
The
me?
audio cut. Yeah, yeah, I
You
hear you
hear
now.
me?
Yeah, I thought they cut your audio.
No, they didn't come out of you. I can hear you.
Sometimes, they play with you, yo. Trust me. YouTube is
I
real
know,
people.
bro. They
Because yo, I done. episode on the other podcast, the D2E podcast. I
Hmm.
interviewed What's the Dirt? This white guy from
Yeah, yeah,
okay, from there. Yo, if you watch it, no joke. I don't know if you watched it, but if you watch it, how YouTube edits, and I wasn't even talking about weed.
yeah.
How
Mm-mm.
it's like they knew they didn't want me to talk to. It's like they didn't want me to talk to him because don't you notice it's like some time lapse. Like I'll be talking with him, and it
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
of
it
course.
cut a whole part out, and it skips to another part of the conversation. And I had good internet. It's not like I have bad internet. He doesn't have bad internet, but it skipped a whole
Yeah,
part, certain parts. So remember that shit what happened to us with the voice changing and the not hearing the volume. Remember back in like a couple years ago.
yeah,
With
yeah,
this
yeah.
now, when I'm on the YouTube with him, we're talking, and everything seems all right. But when I saw the broadcast over, right when I watched it
Hmm.
over, it wasn't like how we were talking.
Wow.
It skipped over. You could even see it, eh? There's certain parts. This is where they're kind of clumsy, YouTube. They make it obvious. Certain parts, it cuts out the sound for like a couple
Mm-mm.
seconds, eh? Like a 10
Yeah, I
second,
noticed
it
that.
cuts
I
out.
noticed that. I noticed
And
that.
it goes back. And it ain't no bad internet. I was on. I was at the base. There was no
It just
bad
goes
internet.
fast.
And it done that. That's the first time, yo. Yo, I've been
Mm.
in worse areas, and like for example, I'm talking with you where I'm outside.
Yeah.
Nothing's cutting off. But because I believe this. If you get a guy who has a lot of subscribers
Hmm.
and you have less, and you interview him on this platform, that shit happens. So, for
Yeah, of
example,
course.
now, if I was to get Wiz Khalifa on here,
Hmm.
right? I guarantee, I could like, look, I'm talking with you, nothing's happening. I guarantee that shit would do the same thing, glitch, because they would say, "Oh, Wiz Khalifa has 1 million and he's on live with
Hmm.
this person who has like nothing really." Think of
Yeah.
it. They don't know who he's talking to is somebody who's not on his level, so they're gonna make it. They don't want you to get all
They're
them
gonna make it
views.
hard.
Really, you if you go on live with Wiz right now, we
Hmm.
supposed to get maybe a couple thousand views, yo.
Of course.
Right now, you should at least get like 800 people tune in. They know Wiz is
Hmm.
on the thing, and you don't have to do a big promo, but as long as he's live, his YouTube shows that he's live, right?
Yeah, of course.
And he puts that,
He goes crazy. He goes crazy.
and you're on for an hour with him, and you keep seeing 1,000. By the time you're done talking with him, it's gonna be like 10,000
Yeah, I
to
know.
start views.
Oh, when he first goes on live, I remember when I got the notification for Wiz, it was like
Mm.
at 1,000 when I clicked it. That was
Yeah,
like just when just the start. You know what I mean? And it kept on
no.
growing.
Example, I seen these two guys, and I don't even know of them anymore. They must have paid Wiz. They done an
Hmm.
interview with him, and they cut it up, and two of the videos was like over, it must be over a mil, more than a mil now. But
Yeah.
when they started, it's not like they had an old platform. They have not too much content. The main interview was Wiz, and that brought them over 1 million each video. Like that's why they kept cutting it up to like a couple,
Mm-mm.
pieces from the interview. But my point is, if a person who's doesn't never been in that audience
Yeah,
got
they'll fuck
a
with it.
Wiz to have near 1 million views, that means if you're already in it like what we do, we interview him, we'll be getting a couple million views.
Of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
I mean, like that's why these people, whoever gets someone like a Wiz or Snoop Dogg, at least a Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
you're getting a couple million. That's gonna change your platform. That should make. That's my point. Your platform should be forever changed.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you got
No.
those people and it's not changed, then I don't know. That's the
Yeah.
biggest cosign. That's the biggest cosign.
Huh? I'm
Especially
barely
when you're
getting a
talking.
lot of shit.
Uh, well, you're going out right now, y'all. Mm, yeah, man. It's the Myrie Jane podcast, man. So you're cutting out slowly. Mhm. Well, people, that was an episode of the Myrie Jane podcast. Wake and Bake with Storm P talking. So, yeah, man. I don't know if I can hear you anymore, but to the platform, Jane podcast.